Yes, well, we're back from the break. You're still watching Smart Men's Business. It's exactly 6 minutes past 9, and yeah, we are heading into our business insight. But of course, before we proceed into that related discussion, I would still love to remind you that the markets on the Zabo platform are on as we speak right now. And for you to participate, it's quite very simple. Star 292 hash is simply the code which will avail you with options where you'll be in position to actually buy government bonds and securities for just 15,000. You get on shillings. Now the markets opened at 8:15 and they'll be running all the way to 3:15 p.m. That is East African time. Effective Monday up to Friday, apart from the weekends and the public holidays where these markets cannot be accessed. But of course, despite that, you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make money, something which I believe is quite key and instrumental when it comes to your financial development as an individual. Zabo made this a reality. Buy bonds and securities, whether you have a smartphone or a button phone, you can still be a part of these markets regardless of that. That's why Zabo says my money, my future, and Altex East Africa, well, tells you you gotta do something new for yourself. Remember, it is 2023. Now, heading into our topic of discussion this morning, something to do with the emerging opportunities that is into the financial sector. Of course, we understand there is a challenge of knowledge, the gap, the linkage gaps within knowledge, people knowing what is really happening out there, most especially the stakeholders, your small and intermediary enterprises, who are actually the actual beneficiaries of such opportunities. And now, of course, there is something to do with emerging opportunities that is in the financial space. And my guest today is Dennis Mbika, is the head of sales at Leshego, Uganda, and we're going to be breaking down some of this. Mr. You're very welcome. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome on that. And maybe on that note, we can first of all talk about, because we know we have quite a huge underserved population.
Yes.
That probably may not have access to these huge services from the commercial banks, but of course the microfinance sector is here to fill in that. So as we dig a foundation for this point, who are the underserved population?
Thank you, and thank you for the invite for this discussion. We want to first look at our population structure.
Yes,
let's look at the population numbers and then we go into underserved, because sometimes when we are in the space, especially those who are in the served space, we don't look at the other side and know that actually there are some people who are underserved. So for the purpose of the discussion, we should be talking about the underserved in relation to banking services.
Exactly.
So that is what we're talking about, the unbanked. And to give it a good history is that look at our population, and the figures would be actually shocking. If we look at those with bank accounts, out of the population, for argument's sake, let's say 45 million people according to last reports, only 12 million people have bank accounts.
Oh, only 12 million,
12 million. So look at that percentage. It's quite small, meaning the underserved, there are quite many. They don't even mind to come to the banks. They are doing their own business in a subsistence way.
Yes.
So our purpose now is to see how do we look into that one. Now that we have defined that it's a population that is not accessing the formal banking services. So that's what we are talking about as. That's what we are talking about as the underserved.
The underserved population.
Yes, they are not accessing the formal banking services, for example, loans, access to bank accounts, and all the bank services that are available.
Okay. Wow, now very interesting. So how have you gone far to make sure that actually they can actually access their desired services? Most especially, we are taking a look at those that are participating in the informal sector. What is that you're putting in place as microfinance institutions to cater for them?
Actually, before we go into microfinance institutions, we have the mobile network operators who came in that space faster. And of course, it's a government initiative to make sure that all people get the banking services. We look at situations of this is what we call financial sector deepening.
Okay.
Under financial inclusion, under Bank of Uganda, under private sector foundation, they are deliberate efforts to make sure people get served. For social economic transformation, people must access banking services Otherwise, somebody will remain in the far area and is not. So finally, it leads into development and as a development goal of the country. So currently, half of that population, and it's actually interesting, they have telephone numbers, they have lines, 21 million out of 45. Almost, it's 53% of the population that have telephone lines. And that gives us an easy way to dive into them.
Okay.
Look at the situation of your grandma far in the village, even when he's not educated. Are you aware is able to withdraw money on
Very,
phone?
very true. Yeah, so
but when you tell him, maybe I have opened for an account, I'm giving you an ATM card, is bothered, my ATM card will be swallowed up by the machine. But tell him I have sent you money on the phone. Even with almost eyes not looking well, we try to withdraw money or send you money.
True.
Or we look for a button where your name is and will beep on you. And you'll see that somebody is trying to call me. So the biggest opportunity now is to reach to the people where they are. And believe me or not, the reach out of the telecommunication companies is going to be very vital. So for us as microfinance institutions who are focusing on the underserved, we have to focus on making partnerships with the mobile telephone companies so that we are able to reach to that 21 to the 53%. So if that deepening intensifies and out of 45 million people we are able to reach 30 million people, then even the government in its policies can say, yeah, we have been able to reach out to as many people as possible. So one of the penetration strategies is to get to the people through the mobile networks and where they are. For example, we send links to them. You send a link and even on the feature phone, somebody can be able to use it and onboard themselves on a banking service. It's very interesting. Leave alone the market, sometimes they get worried that if I click, I don't know these people. But if we have done enough education and awareness, and they know your brand, like when you are talking about like what we are doing, and you send a Leseho link, somebody will trust it. Somebody will trust it and can actually onboard themselves. So the other traditional brick and mortar, come, bring your ID, bring this, walk, make a line, somebody's in the garden, they are worried to transport to move to the urban centers where the banks can be located. Now we have to see to take services to the people. So that's why you find the telecom companies have penetrated faster than banks, because the reach out to high number of people is high.
Maybe just to add on that note, how do you find the IT infrastructure to enable you that? Is it favoring you enough to execute that?
Yes, now that everything is going digital. So innovation is around how do we get this? But of course it will be partnership. For example, the mobile telephone company is good at providing the service. Even sometimes they do the sharing of the masts so that they can do the biggest outreach. So now the financial institutions are the ones now that say, how do we do partnerships to leverage on the other technology that the other people already have? Then you do the integrations and you make sure now you reach out to the people.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned about the target of people that you're trying to look up to the underserved.
Yes.
If we can estimate what is that time space, you can assume that you say maybe by 2030 we shall have covered this.
Yeah. True. The rate at which the growth of penetration is very high.
Is high.
With what is happening in the infrastructure, especially innovations in technology. Today this technology is on, tomorrow. So it's
upgrades all the time.
Every time it's changing.
Yes.
So I think if we within 5 years we can now, if we have a penetration, to make sure that as they go in this technology, are they protected? So there are clear guidelines that consumers are protected. You will not simply say, I will bring my app and you click and the government doesn't know and you are not regulated either by Bank of Uganda is not aware, because they don't know what are they clicking and what will do. So financial inclusion, like I talked about, like specifically even under Bank of Uganda and under private sector foundation, they do a lot of education. Mass education to the people. So the moment people are educated about the evolving changes in technology and financial services, now they are going to trust. You know, people do by trust, live by trust.
Definitely.
That if I go to this person, I'm safe. So the moment you don't create safety, and they know if I click on this link, my money will get out of my account. So there would be phobia to use technology. But as the government emphasizes financial deepening, financial inclusion, and there is massive education, then this one will happen.
Okay.
The penetration will happen. So we think we can increase the penetration to 70% from almost
in a period
50,
of 5
years.
5 years.
Yes, 5 years should be somewhere. 10 years
yes.
should be excellent.
Excellent.
And new technologies will have come, and even people maybe their wallets, they will be able to operate on their wallets freely. Okay.
Now, there is something which is also a rising concern, and this is to do with people's confidence with the banks, with the banking process, especially huge commercial banks, because we've seen issues with cyber security issues. Recently, we had a bank, which I won't mention the name, it was hacked, and I think 100 million was it 100 million? I'm not so certain of thinking, but it's 2 weeks back. Yes. One of the big banks out there. And it's not the first time we're having such cases. We've seen cases still there. So what is that unique aspect you can, because it's been a rare aspect in the microfinance sector. Not maybe if it happens and we don't just get them in the news that the microfinance was hacked and they took this amount of money. So how are you ensuring that for the people such that they have a reason to actually, the underserved, they can have a reason to really
thank you for raising that. And that's why even you quickly either forget the statistics or even even the name of the bank, the banks. For that trust, no bank will make an open statement that we have been hacked. Even when the news comes up, they try to hide. They try to cover up.
But it leaked.
Yes, it leaked. It was there, but the statement to remember, we are still investigating. We shall give the final position.
Exactly.
They don't say we have been hacked and such money is stolen.
True.
But as the evolution of the cyber space is high, and banks remain vulnerable and victims. But to the public, we are secure. There's what we call minimum reserve. Before Bank of Uganda gives you a license, there is a certain amount of money you deposit there to protect the customers' funds. If you remember the closure of the banks that have been closed recently, there is no customer who cried. Actually, they told them the next day report in the other bank. So that control is the one which provides public trust. That even if I take my money there, even if it's all robbed from the whole bank or it bans Bank of Uganda, I have my money protection.
Exactly.
So where the trust should come from is that the public should know where I'm going, whether microfinance, who regulates it.
Who regulates it?
Is it the central bank? Is it the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority? Where do I run to? Similar to insurance sector, because now since we are in business, we need to see this is what we call Uganda Regulatory Insurance Authority. So if I insure my car and you don't pay, and I pay my premium and I have my agreement with you, if I get a challenge and you don't pay me, I know where to go.
You know where to run.
So that's basically the regulatory environment is the one which gives protection and trust to the people. I know if I'm under insurance, there is a regulatory authority. Microfinance, Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority. Central Bank is there. And so long as they are licensed, then the public will be able to trust. Even the telecommunications, you will not say, I put my money and I'm not seeing it.
I'm not seeing it.
I know we are regulated. Yeah. So that's the biggest part that the government must emphasize the regulation, and all the players must abide
by the regulations. Okay, now we can also take a look at the long-term sustainability and scalability that is of your initiatives, which are aimed at actually fulfilling the 5-year plan of 70%.
Yes. This is about innovation. To make sure you look for solutions that actually are appetizing to the people. For example, we have 23 commercial banks under the tier 1, the big banks. How will you make sure that people will come to your door?
Exactly.
Because they will do the shopping, they will come here, they will look. Even if you have a very nice space and you have your ACs, me, a farmer who is dealing downtown or trying to do, that's not my interest. That you have a big bank, you have big boys in neckties. That one does not attract a what? A customer.
A customer, true.
But the solution that you make around there, if I deposit my money, what's the interest rate are you going to offer me?
Oh yeah.
The accessibility, the ease with which to get you. You have one branch. I'm a trader. I travel in different areas of the country, and I don't find your bank there, so I can't do a transaction. So the level of innovation, for example, the ability to transfer money. Even on my phone, to the bank, to the wallet, to the phone, to another person, and call it back, and the rest. So the innovation alongside the solutions that we are going to make are going even to attract the old mama who is very far. We are talking about the underserved. We are talking about cooking oil to eat my fruits for my survival. But those are the people one now to bring and teach them about what? About finances, that now you can leave the butter trade, you can leave the other traditional subsistence, that me I will pick my herbs and have them without money. We still have areas in Uganda where there is no money involved, and people are transacting, and they are counted. They are counted among the population of Uganda. They even vote.
Yes.
If we go to that side, but they are not bothered. So those are the people that the government must target and bring such that the transformation is countrywide, that everybody is able to undergo socio-economic transformation. It's not selective. So if we are to do that, you must make solutions to say that. Don't come to my town. I can deal with you on your phone.
On your phone.
You can borrow on phone without seeing me.
Yes.
You pay back without seeing me.
On phone.
So that one is going to support our penetration.
Okay.
So we must get out from the traditional brick and mortar, come here. No. So that's the financial sector deepening we are talking about. That can we find you where you are? Are you safe? And it is safe. Look at the level of transaction. Somebody might be there and is buying airtime per day, even if he's using airtime of 3,000. That's an indicator that there is an economic activity. Because whom is he calling? He must be calling a business partner who is trying to do some form of trade. Somebody's turnover on the phone in a month, 200,000. Which has gone through his phone withdraw and which has transacted. So such a person, even if is not within reach, is a person of interest. What do you do with that person? What do you do? So if you do a solution whereby he can be able now to borrow, but you base on the transactions, you start and say, I will give you 50,000, and he will quickly can get the 50, and he will be happy. He will quickly pay back. Okay, we have a few, of course, who will think after getting this money, let me throw the phone line. But somebody who has been consistent with his telephone number, like you, I don't know the number you use. If you are 0772, if you are
075,
you have something to protect. If you start changing your number, people will start doubting what has happened, because you know, even if the phone gets lost, you do what? You are able to replace it. But somebody might think, let me go and register the newest number and do what? And access money, and I abandon it. Okay. But remember now, everything is going to be, we are protected. Remember, you are using your national ID to open that number.
Open the number, very true.
You can be traced. But banks are also tactical. They want to see the one who has been transacting for a longer time. Then we start enticing those ones now. You see, I can lend to you, you can even borrow airtime. Some people try to borrow airtime and they give them a limit of 500 shillings, one unit. Then for you, I think they can even give you 50,000.
Why is it?
Depending on the usage and the mobile money, they see the mobile money that is coming there. So that's how we are going to move into the deepening of the sector, and we interest them. When you lend somebody when he's not seeing you, he's going to even trust you more.
Much more. Yes. Very true. Well, very interesting. Maybe before we get into the break, shortly, in 2 minutes, let's highlight the challenges that you are facing in terms of achieving that 30%. What is that hindrance that is coming out? Because I know it's never an easy journey.
Yeah, it's not an easy journey. The education.
Educating the masses.
Educating the masses. we are lucky that our viewers are able now to.
Are they receptive?
They have learned something.
They learned, okay.
Even if they are their workplace, they are in their businesses, there is something they have learned about what we talked about. But now the outreach of the other ones who are very far.
The outreach.
Yeah, the outreach.
The geographical barriers.
The geographical barriers.
Oh, yes.
But specific programs are there, like with Bank of Uganda, the Department of Financial Inclusion. They do those outreaches and reach there. There's what we call mobile banking. The mobile banking, I'm not talking about the phones, but many microfinance institutions have purchased vehicles, which is actually bank. They have internet, they have everything, they go and appear
in a location?
In a location where
people
there
deposit?
Where there are no banks. If I use one Western region, for example, if we talk about the district like Buhwe, there is typically no commercial bank. They have to come and join these other districts. So if you appear with a van, with internet, you educate them that we want to give you mobile banking, but this is how you do. They see you physically.
Oh, yes.
You do it with them. So even if you drive away your van back, they have learned. So there is need. One of the biggest barriers is education. Okay, even if you broadcast messages, they don't simply accept that because you have sent me a message. So we have to do those outreach programs, the TV shows, the radios, so that local radios, so that they get now that trust. So that even when you send a link, they can even onboard themselves. Yes.
Very interesting in there. It's 28 minutes past 9. I'm with Mr. Dennis Mbika. He's the head of sales at Leshego, Uganda, breaking down, of course, the financial opportunities, they're available within the financial sector for the underserved population in there. But of course, still on that note, talking about money, finances, and investment, Zabo is here for you. The market's already on as we speak right now. Start 292 hash is simply the code which will avail you with options to participate into these markets where you can buy bonds and securities for a fee of just 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Now, the market's opened at 8:15 and they'll be running up to 3:15 p.m. This is effective Monday up to Friday, apart from the weekends and the public holidays when these markets cannot be accessed. But of course, despite that, you have the rest of the days of the week to make money. And it's been a while since we last had a public holiday. And of course, coming the public holiday, which I know is Independence, so you can still be a part. There is no excuse. Monday up to Friday, full time, you can be making money. Zabo made this a reality, and it says my money, my future, and all East Africa tells you do something new. Well, now as we head into this break, we shall be taking a look at the Microfinance Deposit Taking Act. You remember the day the president signed the Homosexuality Act into law? Now, during that very time, there were other laws that were signed along, which the Microfinance Deposit Taking Act was inclusive. Of course, we shall be dissecting that much more further. Of what impact is it going to be to the microfinance sector? Stick around.